Hello, hey everyone, we are live. This is Mompreneurs to Millionaires. So glad you're here. Today we are talking about how to boost engagement, right? So if you feel like you are posting and hoping and just shouting into the void, right? And you are really looking for more engagement, that is what we're going to talk about today. So definitely stick around. If you're watching on the live, just say live below, or if you're watching on the replay, just say replay. I'd love to know who's coming in on Wednesdays and who's coming in later. Awesome, so glad you're here. All right, so we are going to talk about what to post and how to get more engagement inside your group as well as outside of your group. Everyone here probably knows I'm a giant believer in Facebook groups, right? If you are only posting and hoping on your social media profiles, whether that's a personal Facebook page or a business page or over on Instagram, if you are only using social media, I call those as billboards, right? If you are only using it as a billboard, you are missing the other part of the whole purpose of social media and a giant part of your business, right? If you are not getting consistent leads every single day, you may want to think about, am I only talking about myself? Am I only putting out myself like a billboard, right? And those are great. It is great to be direct and to talk about your business and talk about yourself and share, right? But I feel like social media profiles are so much more about a billboard, broadcasting, whereas the Facebook group is where you're going to build relationships. So having some type of container, and I think Facebook group is the easiest because it's the biggest, right? Most of your audience is probably on Facebook every single day. So you want to get that algorithm working for you. So using a Facebook group like a sales funnel, that is where you are going to build relationships. And I am a big believer that content is not converting, right? Content is what is keeping you on that hamster wheel of a cycle, and you are just posting and hoping. Content is not converting. Relationships is what is going to actually build revenue. And the best way to do that is inside a Facebook group. So I love working with clients on this. I just had a client the other day who was feeling overwhelmed by, I got to post here, I got to post here. What am I going to post? What content? Blah, 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 blah. Right? And I said, let's really focus on your relationships because that is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So I really feel like getting that win of peace of mind of knowing, okay, I don't have to post every single day if it's not working, right? If it's not working, why would you do more of that thing, right? Sometimes that word consistency feels like more, right? And that doesn't sound like fun. And it doesn't sound like something that we want to do. So I'm a big believer in building systems that are going to help you be consistent, right? I'm an engineer by trade. So I'm on a mission to make systems sexy. Because if it's a sexy system that lights you up every day and gets you excited and actually gets results, that's how it's going to form a habit that is going to get you qualified leads every single day. And it's going to be a system that you show up for, right? And that's what's important. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So definitely stick around. So real quick, I like to say thanks so much to everyone who voted. Every Tuesday, I put out a poll inside my Facebook group about which topics we should talk about. So feel free to vote on the topics that I suggest, or you can always suggest a topic, right? Feel free to drop a comment if there's a topic about your business that you feel like keeps coming up that you're really, holding you back, or it's really helping you. It's a hurdle that you have a question over, right? And that you are really trying to get through. Let's talk about it, right? Let's figure it out. Thanks so much to everyone who voted. Obviously today, the winning topic was boost engagement. So what to post to boost engagement and how to get people talking. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to really talk about the two different places to post inside your group as well as outside your group. Those are the two different places we're going to talk about posting, and then 3 tips for each of those types of content. So definitely stick around. All right, at the beginning of these videos, I always like to invite you to put on your abundance crown, right? Abundance to me means that all things are possible and you have the power to change, right? No one else is coming to save you in your business. No one else is going to actually move your business forward. It is about you, right? So if there are some mindset pieces, I love working through that as well. But if there are some strategy, mindset, tech, right? I always say if there are things that are holding you back in your business, this is about putting on that abundance crown and believing that you have the power to change. It may just take a little bit of a mindset shift or opening of new ideas, right? Often we get stuck in a rut of, well, this is what I've been taught. This is all I have control over. I'm just going to keep doing, keep grinding, and eventually it'll happen, right? And sometimes it is about being consistent, but I really believe that it is about finding a strategy that actually gets results, and that's how you're going to do it more, right? It is not about doing more of the same thing that isn't working, right? Why would you continue to do that? Why would you continue to post if no one is commenting or liking, right? If no one is commenting or liking, more than likely, no one is seeing it, right? And that is the challenge with all the social media profiles. You can have 1,000 followers, right? And it's great to grow followers. But if no one is commenting on your stuff, no one is seeing your stuff. You could have 1,000 followers and nobody is seeing one single post, let alone all your multiple daily posts, right? So it is really about engagement. If you are getting good engagement on your posts, then that's the next step to really make sure that you're turning that engagement into leads and into paying clients. It's not enough just to have a great following and a great engagement in your social media, right? You've got to find a way to convert, obviously, those people into your world, into your lead generation, into your clients. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so put on that abundance crown and really write down I invite you to write down 2 action items with that mindset shift that all things are possible and I have the power to change. Sometimes that comes with some new aha moments, right? And hopefully if you're downloading this free material, right, we can take a free course, we can watch a free video, but if we don't take something out of it, right, then it's really a waste. So I really hope that you find 2 things from today's video that's either a new way of thinking, an aha moment, or a new strategy that you're going to try. And I'd love to hear, right? Just write down 2 things that you heard from my talk today that is different than what you've thought of before. I would love to hear. I would love to hear what your takeaways are. So feel free to write those below, or you can always message me, of course. Awesome. If you're new here, my name is Christina. I have been an entrepreneur forever, right? I always lately I've been thinking about my babysitting days. My daughter is getting to that age. So when I was 12 years old, right, I started babysitting and I really turned it into my business. I made little business cards, right? I really just loved that idea of having a little business where I could earn my own money, right, and get my own clients. So all the way back then, I think that entrepreneurial spirit was running deep. I started my first little Etsy shop in 2010, and oh my gosh, right? Who loves Etsy? Tell me if there are some Etsy lovers. It is such a beautiful, right? A beautiful place for makers and crafters, and I just love it over there. So in 2010, I realized, oh my gosh, you can't just build it, right? You cannot just set up shop and people will show up. The internet is huge, right? So that was really the first smack in the face lesson that, oh my gosh, you have to go where your audience is. You really have to go to them and figure out how to get eyeballs. How do you get eyeballs? You can't just show up on Google, right? And people find you magically. It's far, far more complicated than that. And the internet is far huger than that. And that's amazing, right? That's why the world is abundant. That's why there is plenty of room in the market. It is not that it's saturated. It is not that people can't find you. You have to find your people. And that is really the goal, I think, of marketing, is finding your people and getting them to see your stuff and having those conversations and building those relationships. So that is definitely what I believe and what I teach with my clients every day. So fast forward, in 2014, my husband and I opened our little dream business. It was a bike shop, coffee shop, the Bike and Brew. And it was the perfect little, conglomerate of our marriage. He liked bikes. I liked coffee. It was perfect. It was a brick and mortar store, obviously, and we loved being a part of our community. Granted, again, we built the perfect shop, what we thought, right? Had the right colors, equipment, products, coffee, service, right? All of location, all of those things we thought were perfect. And again, if you build it, they don't just come, right? Unfortunately. So we, again, had to quickly learn by fire. We had to figure out how to get, right, people in my door like yesterday. So again, that was where I really learned this, this concept of going where my audience was and getting them to come to me, right? Getting something for them to motivate them to come into my shop. So that is where really my marketing heart started. And after, sadly, only 2 years, we had to close, unfortunately, right? We didn't have enough clients, right? We didn't have enough customers, and we had to close our doors. And that was devastating, right? Obviously, if you've ever had to close up shop, right? It can be a real heartache, but I love that it closed, right? Of course, at the time it was terrible, but I am so happy that we went through that. And I am so happy that we're on the other side, right? I am so happy that I learned from that experience, and I really turned it into my passion, because I turned it into my passion to help other women business owners, because I thought there must be so many of us standing on an island, trying to build a business and feeling like we don't have the right knowledge, the right know-how, the right strategy. If only, right? If only I had the right tools, if only I had the right knowledge, then I could be successful. And I really think every business can be successful. So I'm on a mission. We rise together. I'm on a mission to help other women business owners to have access to the right knowledge, access to the right strategy, know-how, how to implement, and all of those things to help us all be successful, because I really think it is the age of women, right? We are rising, we are building businesses so that we can have more quality time with our family and contribute to our household income, right? I think that is where all women want to be. And I'm on a mission to help us all get there. So I'm glad you're here. Stick around. I'm going, right? I'm moving up, and I'm bringing you with me. So we rise together. That is always my motto in life. So why you're here today, right? So back to our content and how to boost engagement. At the bike shop, I really didn't have a great concept of what to post, right? And so I really came up with a system that I think worked really well back then, that I continue to teach with my clients today. So the first area that you can post, right? The first content, the place that we post is often what many of us think and probably do multiple times a week, right? And this is posting on your profile. So whether that is your personal profile, your business profile, your Instagram profile, right? This is you, this is your billboard, right? You are broadcasting to the world what you have, your wares, your services, all of those things. And so that first place on your profile, I want you to think about 3 things that could help boost engagement over on your social media profile. The first thing is to really think about what to post, right? And so I really believe in treating this kind of like your profile is like a little mini blog, right? Most people are not going to get the gist of your business in one post, right? You've got to give little tidbits, little pieces of information that people can, little bite-size pieces that people can consume and receive, right? Again, if you have 1,000 followers and no one is seeing your posts, you don't want to spend a bunch of time on these posts, right? But you want to think about what is consumable, what is receivable by my audience, and break it up, make it easy for them, right? I think those long story posts, right? So a few of them could be helpful, but more often than not, people are not reading those long story posts. I think it's great to get your message out, and it's a good habit for you to kind of put that together. But I definitely think people are reading the title, looking at your picture, watching the first second of your video, and moving on. So you want to make sure that in those first few seconds, you have captured their attention and told them what to do. So here are my 3 tips for outside of your Facebook group on any social media platform. The first one is to think about what that content is. I go for a 30-30-30 rule, right? So a third of, if your goal is 3 posts a week, right? I think that's a great goal to start with. And if you're posting every day, right, then you can break this up a little bit more. But a third of your posts should be, I think, motivational. So whether that is a fun quote, a story that's inspirational, right? Something that is motivational, right? We all are looking for motivation in our life. We're all looking for transformation. Most of us coaches are selling transformations that we've been through ourselves. So those would be the times to share your story without necessarily an intent to pitch, right? But sharing your story, getting people to respond. But I always think having some way for them to respond, tell them what to do, right? I think as women, often we are told, most of our lives, we've been taught more so to be polite and not be direct. So I think this is your chance to kind of share your story, be bold, or just share a motivational quote, right? That can be helpful too. So the first thing should be motivational or inspirational. The second type of content of what to post, I think, should be educational, right? This is where you're giving some type of value. So this would be a great place if you have a blog, if you have a freebie, if you have just a little tidbit, a little tip, right? If any of you are using Canva, right? Canva is a great place to look for top 10 tips for wellness, right? Or 10 tips for self-care, or 3 activities to do with your kids after school, or, you know what I mean? There's a million little easy ways to come up with tips. So educational. So the third, of the 3 different types to post of content: motivational, educational, and the last one is promotional, right? Certainly don't forget about yourself, but I would not consider being promotional every single day of the week, right? That tends to feel a little bit more salesy. So those are the 3 kind of posts to think about throughout your week. And again, this is more of a billboard style. You're just broadcasting, right? This is you kind of putting out information. Yes, it would be great if people responded, and the best way to get people to respond, I think, is to ask questions and ask for a call to action. So that is definitely my second tip for posting on social media profiles, is to use a call to action. Be direct. Tell them what to do, right? Here's my inspirational story. Who agrees, right? It could just be a quick question. Or here's my freebie. Comment, DM below and I'll send you, or comment, right? Comment something below and I'll send it to you. And then the third type of content, right? If it's promotional, it could be who wants this, my next workshop, say yes, right? Or who's ready for, changing their life, blah, 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 say ready, or something like that, right? Give them a call to action in wherever you are posting and whatever type of content you're doing. Give a call to action, right? And it doesn't always have to be a call to action. If it's just an inspirational story that you're sharing, that's great. But if you're looking for more engagement, definitely a call to action. Tell them what to do. And I always like to say at the top, right? Because again, most people are not clicking the see more button. So maybe include a call to action at the very top, right? Like, who agrees with this? And then share your inspirational story. Or who needs this in their life, and then share your educational thing, right? Or who's ready to make a change, and then share your promotional thing, right? So whatever that call to action is, I would definitely include it near the top. So that's my second piece of advice for profile content. And the third one is really scheduling, right? I don't know if you can, I don't think you can schedule content on your personal profile, but if you have changed it to a professional influencer, I believe, type content creator, I think you can schedule your personal profile, but definitely as a business page, you can schedule your content. So that's always good, right? If you're shooting for, if it's 3 posts a week, that's a great goal. If you're shooting for more, that's great. But again, I would not focus on this type of content. I think content does not convert as well as relationships, right? Tell me if you agree, right? If that feels alarming to you. I don't. In the last 10 years, right? We closed our bike shop in 2016. And from then, I've been helping other business owners promote their businesses, right? Strategize their businesses, grow their businesses. And in those 10 years, content is not converting, right? Unfortunately, relationships are what converts. So I think it's really important to not focus so much on content, but focus on building those relationships. So anything that you can do to make it more automatic on your other social media profiles, right? So if you're doing your 3 posts per week, if you can schedule those out so that you don't have to worry about them. I don't want your whole day to be spent on deciding what to post, right? I want you to have room and space for you to be responding and engaging. So definitely think about this separate type of content, right? If you are heavy focused on content on this billboard style and it's not working, I would change your strategy, right? And that's where I would love to jump in and help you change your strategy, because I definitely think using another way of building this container, a sales funnel, getting your audience into your world, I think is far more important than focusing on content. So the second type of content that we're going to talk about though is inside your Facebook group. And again, if you are only, right, if you feel very limited in your time and your content is not converting, I would stop focusing on content altogether. Like stop posting for a week and really think about your strategy. Because if it's not working, doing more of that thing is not magically going to start working, right? Being consistent is not about doing more of what's working, right? Or doing more of what's not working, right? Consistency would happen when you know it's going to work, and then that's how you're going to show up every day. But it's got to be something and a habit that I think works and lights you up. And that's why I call it a sexy system. I'm an engineer by trade, and systems have not traditionally been sexy, but I'm on a mission to make them exciting. And the way to do that is to get them to work. You need to see actual results, and it has to be fun and aligned with you, right? If you're getting results every day, you're going to show up every day, right? So I think that's the habit that to focus on for sure. So this second place that we're going to focus on content is inside your Facebook group. And I really think this content should be separate. So over on your social media profiles, Instagram, personal page, business page, those should all be and can be the same content over there, but separate from your Facebook group. Your Facebook group is not just an extension of all of those social media profiles. You really want to treat your Facebook group like a party. Nobody wants to show up to a party, right? And the host only talks about her, right? Your social media profiles are more about, hey, this is me, here I am, this is my little placeholder on the internet, this is my billboard, right? Inside your Facebook group, this is where you are going to build those relationships, and it is far more about your audience. Less about you, more about your audience. So you really want to get your audience talking, get people engaging. This is how you are going to get that Facebook group engaging and warmed up and excited to your world and talking about whatever you want them to talk about. And the best way to do that is with questions. So I think creating content inside your Facebook group should be mainly questions that you are asking your group, asking your target audience, and ask them questions in a way that leads them to the mindset that you want, the services that you offer, whatever you want to get them thinking about, right? So if you are a wellness coach, you want to start asking questions like, what do you do for, how many cups of water do you drink every day? How are you taking care of your body today? Or what movement are you working on today? Or, you know what I mean? What new habit are you trying to incorporate? Those are all things to start asking your audience, because that can usually spark some conversation, right? What the idea of asking a question is when people start responding and commenting, then you're able to comment on their comment. And if it's something you feel so inclined, you could be like, hey, I love that you're drinking 4 glasses of water a day. Did you know that, blah, 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 we want to be drinking 8. I've got an easy habit tracker for you. Interested, right? Or I'm going to send you a DM. I've got this great article you should read, right? Or something like that. All of these questions should lead to some part of your business where you can start a conversation outside of the comments. And that is the goal. That is how you're going to build those relationships. So content inside your Facebook group, again, should be treated like a party, but the first thing is really questions. So really coming up with a list of questions that you can ask every day. I think the goal is to have 1 question a day inside your Facebook group, right? And that could feel a little overwhelming, right? If that feels too overwhelming, again, focus on 3 per week. That's a great start. What 3 questions could you ask every single week inside your group? And I think it's important to have the same questions, right? And if you feel like this is boring and people are going to see the same question and be totally annoyed, we have different weeks, right? We feel different ways. People are going to see different stuff every week. So having that opportunity to ask the same thing every week, I think is really important. And so, and you can change it up, right? Of course. But having those consistent questions every week allows you to automate this process and then get creative, right? The whole idea is to put content on the back burner. Have content be in the background, ancillary, so that you have more time and headspace to focus on relationships. Because again, content is not converting. Relationships are what is going to build revenue and actually turn leads into paying clients. So I really want you to focus on relationships, not so much on content, right? But we want our content to be engaging, of course, and building and nurturing and doing all of those things. We just want it to be on the back burner so that we can focus more on the few people that are responding so that we can build those relationships. That's where we want to focus. And then you can get creative, right? Then you can be like, oh my gosh, I thought of this new idea for a content. I thought of this new message I really want to work on. I thought of this new product. I thought of this new service or offering or new workshop or whatever, right? New freebie. That's where you can really have headspace, because if you're in the mindset that, oh my gosh, what am I going to post today? What am I going to post today? What am I going to post today? And if no one is responding to those posts, that's not where you should focus, right? I don't think that is what is going to convert. I really think building those relationships is what is going to actually get you clients. So that's what I work with my clients every day on, so that we can build relationships and get them more paying clients. That's the goal. All right, so inside your Facebook group, so we talked about asking more questions. And then the second one is using, this is my little secret, right? Write it down if you have not been using this, the @everyone tag. This is definitely, you can use it inside your Facebook group once per day, right? You don't want to overuse it, and don't worry, Facebook will stop you, so you can't overuse it. But you want to have at least one post per day that allows you to use the @everyone tag. So I think using the @everyone tag in the comment of that one post per day is a great way, because then you can ask a follow-up question. So let's say your question inside your group, your post question is, how many glasses of water are you drinking per day? Then in the comments, you can start the comment train, right? Start it off and say, @everyone, are you meeting your goal of 8 glasses a day? Or, do you believe the goal that everyone should be having 8 glasses, or, some other type of follow-up. So it allows you to kind of ask more than one question in kind of that same post, and just start the conversation, right? But @everyone, that allows you to tag everyone in your group, and more people will see it, right? Tell me how you feel about the @everyone, if any, right? Does anyone feel, I've seen some pushback on this, where people are like, oh, I don't want to be too pushy, right? I don't want to be too annoying. I don't want to bug people. I hear this so much from women, right? And I think it is from society that teaches us to be polite above all else. This is your business, right? If you are passionate about your business, who cares if someone gets annoyed that you are telling us more about your business? I get it, right? Nobody wants to be salesy. Nobody wants to be sold to. So there's a happy medium somewhere in between, but I definitely think more women than not, need to err on the side of being direct, right? Use the @everyone tag. If people get annoyed, they can leave your group, or they can turn off their notifications. More than likely, most people are not seeing the @everyone tag in their notifications. You're just showing up in their feed. And wouldn't that be great, right? Why not try it? If you're afraid of the @everyone tag, that's fine. Don't use it every day, right? But occasionally, if you need a little boost inside your group, try the @everyone tag. I always like to use it in the comments. I think that's a great way to kind of follow up the question. So that's really tip number 2 inside your Facebook group. And the last tip is, don't forget to promote your business, right? So yes, we are talking inside your Facebook group, of course, about engaging with your audience and asking questions to them. Definitely, it's easy to forget, right, to promote your business. So figure out a way to ask a question that does the same thing for your business, right? That promotes your business in a way that lets people know. So it's not just, are you drinking 8 glasses of water a day? That one of the questions per week, every week, you should be promoting your business in a way that is asking a question, getting people interested. Would you be interested in a free wellness audit, or a free call about the 5 tips you should be doing during menopause? Or, you know what I mean? Like, think about a question that you could ask. If I could give you this result, would you be interested? At least once per week, you want to be promoting your business inside your Facebook group, but ask it in a question. Ask it in a way that gets them a result fast, so that people aren't just, I see so many free groups, right? I get it. There are free support groups that maybe are not a business. But if you are here, you have a business, you are wanting to get more clients, you are wanting to make money in your business. So to get people in your Facebook group to realize you have a business and realize that you have a service and an offering, you want to promote that business. But it's important to do it, I think, in a different way than on your social media profiles, where it's more like a billboard, right? Inside your business, inside your Facebook group, that's where you're going to ask questions in a way that gets the conversation going, gets them thinking about whatever you want them to think about, but then ask them a question about your service, right? Do you want, would you be interested? If I could help you with this, would you be interested? I have a new workshop that is talking all about this. Who's interested, right? Something to that effect. I love the color block posts. I think that's an easy way to ask questions inside your Facebook group. I think it's really important and really comforting to schedule the entire month. I like to schedule a whole month's worth of questions inside my Facebook group so I don't have to worry about it. I spend very little time inside my Facebook group except responding to comments, which is great because that is where I'm building those relationships. I spend most of my day in the DMs. And then I'm also spending time in other Facebook groups, getting more people into my Facebook group, right? But there's this mindset that this Facebook group is going to be, oh, such a giant time suck to manage, right? To moderate a Facebook group. You get to decide what this Facebook group is like, right? If there's a bunch of drama, you get to decide what that looks like. If there's a bunch of moderation that needs to be happening, you get to decide how much of that you want to do, right? There is very little drama in my group because I don't allow it, right? If there is any type of people stealing posts, right? I don't allow other posts. That's probably a big thing. I only allow my posts, but anyone can comment. So you can decide what you want your group to be like. I think if you allow other posts, that's when there's more moderation that is required, right? You have to figure out what posts you approve and who you let do what, which can be a little bit overwhelming. But honestly, I spend very little time actually inside my group. I am more focused on building those relationships and getting more people into my group. So that is what's so beautiful about scheduling these questions so that inside your group, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about content inside your group. And it would be great if you could schedule your content outside of your group as well, right? On your social media profiles, more the Billboard style, so that you don't have to worry about that content as well. I think focusing on relationships over content is so important. Community over content is definitely the message that I think is far more important. All right, so I think that is it for today. We talked about the 2 different types of content outside of your Facebook group and inside your Facebook group, and 3 different tips for each of those. So if you have any questions about content, I would love to answer them. Feel free to drop them below, or you can always message me privately. I always like to say and leave you with a little bit of knowledge, right? That do not waste years. If you feel like you are stuck in a posting and hoping, I was there for years. I wasted years posting and just hoping the algorithm would kick in, I would get enough eyeballs all of a sudden, right, that it would be a domino effect. It never came. Posting and hoping never worked. I needed to change my strategy. I needed an outside view to give me specifics for my business of how it would work. And that is what I love about one-on-one coaching, is I feel like it gives you that 30,000 foot view, right? We can be so deep in the weeds in our own business that it's hard to see what our next move is going to be, or where we're going to get the most bang for our buck. And that's why I love learning from other people, right? You are not meant to do this alone. We are meant to be in community with each other, especially women. I think we are meant to learn from each other, learn from those who have gone before you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I did, right? That's the whole idea. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's learn from each other so we can all rise together. That is the goal. So definitely if you feel like you are stuck, I would love to help you get unstuck. I'm really excited about my new VIP challenge. It is a one-on-one challenge where we work in Messenger one-on-one. So I have 5 days of videos that are all about growing your Facebook group. So if you feel like you have a Facebook group that is either not engaged, you feel like it is dead, people are not moving inside your Facebook group, definitely let's talk. This 5-day video set will definitely help you. And with this one-on-one challenge, you get me for 5 days. So we get to talk about how to incorporate each of those 5 videos into your specific business. So it's really one-on-one coaching in Messenger, and it's just $27. So definitely take advantage of that VIP challenge. Feel free to just say VIP below. or you can message me separately. But I love doing this challenge. So many women are getting some big wins inside their Facebook group. If you feel like you haven't started a Facebook group, but you've thought about it and you're not sure quite how this would look for your business, these are great things to do inside the challenge, is that we can work through naming your group together, we can work through those questions, and we can work through creating that content that's going to boost engagement inside your group and get you qualified leads every single day so that you can turn them into paying clients. Awesome. That is it for today. Right. I always say, if you are afraid to move forward, right? If you are afraid to send that email, or if you are afraid to say yes to something, definitely check in with yourself and think about, is this fear keeping me small? Because it is keeping me inside my comfort zone, right? Growth is not happening inside your comfort zone. The only way to grow and move your business forward is to sometimes take that little leap of faith, right? It can be scarier. It can be scary, but I always say it's far scarier to stay stuck, because then you don't have hope, right? If you are staying stuck and you are choosing to not take a leap of faith, then what? Then what is your plan, right? If you don't have a plan to move your business forward, I think it is far scarier, because then you don't have hope, right? So I would love to help you move your business forward, come up with a plan, come up with a strategy that actually works to get you business and get you clients every single day. All right, that is it. Thanks so much for sticking around. We'll see you on